Lattafa's Afkaar. So this is going to be the clone of Mancera's Instant Crush. And how close is this to Instant Crush? Well, we're getting ready to find out. Hey everybody, it's Jamar from Vegas Sense. Welcome back to the channel. And in this video, again, we're going to be going over Lattafa's Afkaar and basically comparing that side by side with Mancera's Instant Crush. So definitely stick around for the rest of the video. Also, to anyone brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. Also, to everyone watching, do me a favor, leave a like and a comment on the video. All right. So Lattafa's Afkaar, I did put out a video on this fragrance last week, kind of singing the praises of this fragrance. And I was definitely wanting to know exactly how close this came to Mancera's Instant Crush. So right now we're just going to do a quick little side by side of the two fragrances, just to kind of see if there are any sort of differences. I do think I'm going to go ahead and actually spray these on skin, even though I'm wearing a different fragrance. So I'm going to spray the Mancera on my left hand here, and then the Afkaar over here. All right, and obviously immediately the room is pretty much filling up with the smell of these two fragrances. And I mean, at least in the immediate opening, I can say that the Mancera, it does seem to be slightly more smoother, basically meaning that like I am getting a little bit of alcohol from the Lattafa, but I mean, it's barely there. And I mean, at this point, the Lattafa Afkaar has definitely settled down. Now, what I will also say is the Lattafa Afkaar, at least on my skin right now, it does seem to have a little bit more of that sort of mandarin orange note popping out than what the Instant Crush does. The Instant Crush, you do kind of get some of that mandarin orange citrus. But I feel like with the Instant Crush, I'm getting more of sort of like the saffron and the ginger. And honestly, I would say probably just more so kind of like the saffron. Whereas with the Afkaar, like I said, I'm getting more of a sort of citrusy, sweet kind of mandarin orange note from this. Slightly even more so, I would say heavier on the bergamot as well. So, I mean, I would say overall, the Lattafa Afkaar is slightly brighter than what the Instant Crush is in the opening. I would say that the Instant Crush, it does seem to be a little bit more sort of balanced. So I would say the Instant Crush, it doesn't seem to have like a more of any sort of note kind of sticking out or popping out a little bit more than the other. Whereas, like I said, with the Lattafa, I can say that there is a slightly heavier emphasis on the mandarin orange in this fragrance than what there is in the Mancera. Now, I mean, in terms of like the projection and strength, so far anyway, these two seem to be pretty much identical. I mean, as a matter of fact, I would even contend and say that possibly the Lattafa is maybe 1 to 2% stronger, possibly. And I mean, we all know that, you know, Mancera's Instant Crush is not like a slouch at all when it comes to like the performance of that fragrance. It is a pretty beast mode type of fragrance. So to say that the Lattafa is slightly stronger, that's definitely saying a lot to me. Now, obviously in this video, I'm not going to be able to go over, the total sort of comparison between these, when it comes to like the opening, the mid, and the dry down. But I mean, at least so far, these are very close to each other. Like I said, the main difference being is the Lattafa Afkaar just ever so slightly has a little bit more sort of citrus in it, which I do actually like. I can definitely say that I do sort of prefer the extra sort of fruitiness that you get from the Lattafa than what you're getting from the Mancera. Even though the Mancera is I would say the more sort of balanced fragrance. So even though the Mancera is more balanced, at least to my, for my taste anyway, that doesn't necessarily mean that it smells better. All right. So yeah, I mean, so far, I would say you really cannot beat the price of this fragrance, especially when compared to the quality that you're getting with this. Like I said, for maybe like the first 3 to 5 seconds, I was getting a slight sort of alcohol tinge in this fragrance that I didn't get in the Mancera. But again, 3 to 5 seconds, that's really nothing. I mean, I'm sure I've probably sprayed fragrances on me and didn't really even start smelling the fragrance on me until after about 3 to 5 seconds. So that's probably something that a lot of people may not even realize is really there with the fragrance. And again, once this starts to kind of settle down, which is again after about that sort of 3 to 5 second mark, the quality is pretty much, it's right there with the Mancera. Like I said, the main difference that I'm picking up on is just that ever so slightly sort of heavier emphasis on citrus in the Lattafa Afkaar. Again, just going back to what I said in the previous video about Afkaar, the performance on this was amazing. I got 10 to 12 plus hours with this fragrance the few times that I've worn it so far. So that's just straight out of the box. I mean, I haven't had this fragrance more than what, maybe 2 weeks or so, 2 weeks or a week and a half, something like that. So obviously this fragrance, hasn't been macerated or anything like that. So I can only imagine how good this is going to be, maybe a month to 2 months from now, So again, I'll have a link in the description to where you can purchase this. From what I can see, the only place really selling this right now in the United States is the Oud store. And I believe it's about $30. It's either $30 or $35, something like that. So like I said, I'll have a link in the description to where you can buy that. Also, be sure to use my discount code VegasSense10 to get an extra 10% off. And just let me know, man, again, have you all smelled Afkaar and Mancera's Instant Crush? And how close do you think, the two fragrances come to each other? As of right now, I'm going to say these two fragrances are probably, I would say about 95 to 97% close to each other. Like I said, the main difference really that I'm getting is just this one has a little bit more sort of mandarin orange and bergamot in it than what the Mancera Instant Crush does. So, if that's something that sounds appealing to you and you don't necessarily want to spend, $70 to $80+ for a bottle of Mancera's Instant Crush, then I think that, absolutely you're not going to miss out on anything with buying this fragrance. So again, this is going to be Lattafa's Afkaar. All right. So definitely, again, if you are brand new to my channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also to anyone watching, do me a favor, go ahead and like the video. Also leave a comment on the video as well. That definitely helps me a lot with the algorithm and getting my video pushed out there to other people on YouTube. So go ahead and do me that favor. It costs you nothing to do that. Just leave a like and a comment on the video. Once again, that's Jamar from Vegas Sense. I'll see you on the next video.